Hey there, friends. I hope that you are having a lovely Memorial Day, no matter how you celebrate, with friends and family, or with just friends, or just family, or solo. I hope that you will be having a lovely Memorial Day. You folks down there in Florida, you stay safe. We've got a tropical storm warning, I believe, for you guys. I was talking to my pal in Pensacola, and she was like, yep, I'm batting down the hatches. So you guys keep safe down there. I have 3 starter journals for the store, and remember, these are the smaller type journals. Let me give you the dimensions on these. These are 4.5 by 6.5 by 1.5 on the spine, and they usually end up to be about 2.5 inches wide when they are stuffed. Remember, these are starter journals. These are priced at a point where you can kind of decide, is a flow journal right for me? Is it going to be something I'm going to use? But also remember, guys, that your journal, your journey with your journal is a very unique experience. You may decide, well, I didn't really gravitate to the art supplies, but I dumped the whole thing out, and now it's become my hoard journal. Or I used only the paper out of it, but then I filled it with like vintage cards that I had picked up at the thrift store or whatever. It's your journal. It's your journey, so make it your own. We'll start with I love this fabric, y'all. I'm calling this Jungle Book, because to me it just said tropical, it said wild, and it said jungle quite sincerely. It spoke to me in the middle of the night, and it said jungle. I'm kidding. I'm not that far gone. It's finished with a really neat bead assortment. This bead assortment is salvaged beads. You know how much I love to repurpose, renew, reinvigorate, reinvent the things that I find. And these are all salvaged beads from a necklace that I've had for actually a really long time. It wasn't my necklace, but it was someone's necklace at some point. When I salvage beads, I take the whole thing apart and clean them really well, and then I'm able to repurpose them. This is a glass powder bead. I thought that one was really cool too, and I've used the glass powder beads on some of the other journals that we're gonna take a look at today. This is a super cool tag from Kathy Kale, and nice washi tape that says big dream, big dream, big dream. A little skinny book for you guys right here. Lots of fun papers for you to play with. Remember, we're starting off with a kind of a health and wellness. It's spring, it's summer, it's time to get out and walk or hike or bike or whatever you do to keep yourself healthy. This was a really interesting article about how animals source remedies in the wild. It was very, very, very interesting. So we got a little bit of health and wellness articles. Remember, it's about the paper, the color, the texture, the images that you can reuse and repurpose and make into your very own thing. I love this. It says love, quite simply. I think that is a good thing for today. Love will keep us together. These are from some repurposed calendar elements. This is an envelope of scrap paper, painty paper, sprayed paper, inky paper, all kinds of papers and fabrics for you to play with right here in this envelope. And then when you're finished with that, you can alter the envelope. And this is a really sweet tag from 7 Gypsies. Loving these. I had a 7 Gypsies, a canvas core gift card that I didn't even know I had. I was really excited to find it. And bonus for you guys, because there's a lot of 7 Gypsies things in here now. This is from one of my old art journals. This is from the Wall Street Journal. I love the imagery in National Geographic, so I have some National Geographic pages in here. A little bit of inspiration for you from some of those beautiful scrapbook magazines. They are so intriguing to me. I just love the colors. This is an ATC made from magazine papers. So, you know, don't tell me magazine papers are not super useful. They certainly are useful. They're great for images, great for words. They're great for so many things. Got some stickers here for you, an ATC for you to play with. Pretty colors. I really did like this image, and it also is from a magazine, a really sweet image of a boxer. And here's his boxing bag right here. It's just a lovely, lovely picture. It reminds me of the song, The Boxer by Paul Simon. And my sweet brother-in-law is on tour right now with Paul Simon, and that tour is going smashingly well. He is having a very, very sweet time on that tour. This is the 1876 text pages from the Three Musketeers. We certainly do love using that. Some vintage French text for you. I think this is German, and of course we have some Chinese characters here. Spring and springtime. Here's a little owl for you to play with, a vintage playing card, something that I cut out of a Starbucks bag because I'm just like that. This is a hold ticket for if you buy a dress in a store and you need it held. These are some of our, I think this was 1988 Colonial Living. Then we had a 1994 Southern Living. I can't remember the exact dates on here, but these are vintage magazine papers from Home and Garden magazines. This is a sweet little item, 1964, about how to properly store things in your house. It was kind of the 1964 version of KonMari, because really, you guys, a lot of what I'm reading in these little brochures is KonMari. I love that. I love this wreath. It's seashells and stars and just all kinds of awesome goodness right there. Very inspiring. Beautiful plants. I had to go outside today and kind of trim my peonies back because they're finished blooming. But honestly, you guys, I was looking at their spent blooms and I'm like, well, that's really pretty as well. So it was kind of like, am I going to cut them back now? Or am I going to cut them back later? Because they're at that point where they're dead and they kind of look cool. I mean, they have like a deep coral color to them now. I can't explain it. I find beauty in just the weirdest things in the world. School Street Methodist Church in Saco, Maine. This is part of our Nielsen ephemera, and it is a vintage Christmas card signed Dot and Bert. More of the garden element of our Home and Garden magazine. We got a little mermaid there. We all love mermaids. Look at the octopus. Isn't that neat? And he's holding a lantern. I love that. Love those bowls too. They're really sweet and pretty. Here is an oversized ATC for you to play with. I've got a napkin here and a really funky, cool border strip. I've never seen border strips like this before. I just thought they were super cool. Someone gave them to me. An original piece of art for you. This is from a tutorial that I did about using simple shapes. I can't draw. I'm not a drawer, so I have to do like these shortcuts if I'm going to make something. A vintage card for you to play with, a little paper pad that says Friends. We are into Grandma's kitchen right now, and we're learning to make cream potatoes, scalloped potatoes, and glazed sweet potatoes from the Metropolitan Life cookbook. And we have some fish recipes for you right here. I think if we peruse over here, we might see, yes, there is some of these black and white illustrations right here, as well as, ta-da, we found an actual color recipe in these. I think this is 1953, y'all. A molded cheese salad. Don't look at that. Is that not just the neatest thing? I love old ephemera, and I could spend my whole lifetime just looking at it and thinking about the stories behind it. Why did these people buy these cookbooks? It says Culinary Arts Institute, one of America's foremost organizations devoted to the science of better cookery. Some tissue paper for you to play with, as well as a chipboard butterfly. Our friend Gail made these, and I'm like crazy to make some more. They're just fabric squares that she has cleverly stapled onto a little piece of cardstock, and I love them. I just think they're so neat. Gail, you did an outstanding job there, girl. And we're through with one little journal. Don't you kind of like that? Doesn't it just say Jungle Book? I really thought it was really super neat. Okay, our next starter journal is Orange You Glad. And my friend Lorraine loves orange, and I can't stand it. So this was a real, but, you know, I'm adapting to it. I love my friend. When she puts on her orange apron, I try to not look down and tell her that my eyes are burning, and she says it's okay. More of the powdered glass beads, a few macrame beads, wooden beads right here, and some tribal beads. I thought that they were really appropriate for this book as well. So we're going to start off right here. We've got some stickers for you to play with. Changing our climate, changing our diet to cool the climate. I have been really paying attention to what I eat since my return from Italy. I think it's because over there, guys, you don't see processed meat. You see fresh meat. I'm not a big meat eater, but I did enjoy prosciutto while I was over there. You know, beautifully thin sliced meats. You don't see processed cheeses. You see actual cheese. It was a very eye-opening kind of eating experience. The closest thing to fast food in Italy are these small stands that are in the alleyways as you're navigating, you know, the city. And they sell these exquisite tuna sandwiches with olives. They sell something called speck, which is a ham. But if you get a speck sandwich, it has ham, and it'll have like a piece of provolone or something on it. Anyway, it's just beautiful. We did get to go into a grocery store, and we actually bought groceries when we were in Rome, and that was an experience as well, because when you walked into the meat department of this ancient grocery store, you know, they had hams hanging up. Everything was beautifully displayed in the display cases. Very different from a shopping experience here in the States, where everything just seems to be processed and packaged. You know, there were food carts that had apples and pears and grapes and stuff, you know, just kind of dumped in these beautiful boxes and arranged very beautifully on these carts. So anyway, I've been kind of thinking about my diet and thinking about you know, ways that I can go about improving it, and one of those things was, you know, to do a lot of clean eating when I got back home, which I have really been practicing, except for that Nutty Buddy that I had last night. I love a Nutty Buddy ice cream cone, and Chris said, "Do you want some ice cream?" And I was like, "Oh yes." So he had to go to the market anyway. So he, just run down to the 7-Eleven, and so he picked us up an ice cream cone, which was delicious. This is a little bit of original art for you guys. This is another example of what you can make with a simple, you know, like a magazine page. And this is a collage, and it just says tea up here. You can make anything with a magazine page. It is an awesome tool. This is an original piece of art, a little bit from the Wall Street Journal, a little bit of fashion for you to ponder. More from National Geographic. This is also from National Geographic, an inspirational page from a scrapbooking magazine about pets. Look at that doggy. Isn't that sweet? more about birds. 2018 is the year of the bird. I did not know that until my friends Tom and Jody gave me an issue of National Geographic. These are altered cereal box boards for you to play with. It's really nothing better than circles to kind of get you started and get you thinking. I love circles, obviously. I think that I'm a Cherokee Indian heritage, and I think that that just plays into, you know, my Cherokee nature to just really love circles. I've got a bookmark for you guys to play with. A little bit of home and garden inspiration, this time featuring some pretty little fishies. I also love these things, man. They are... oh crap, oh sorry, they are, halogen kind of things where you just put them in the sun. That's not the right word. They don't have electricity run to them. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Again, more of that. I love lights in the summertime when it gets dark. That's another thing about being in Italy. You know, when you're in that environment and you're in these medieval alleys and it's really, really dark, and then all of a sudden it lights up when the street lights come on, or when the sidewalk cafes light their candles. Very inspiring. Very romantic, makes your heart feel good when you see that kind of thing. Another little Kathy Kale piece that says alive. More text elements for you to play with. Vintage playing cards. I love the new papers that we got from Nancy. They're just so much fun to play with. A bit of Alice in Wonderland. More text pages for you to play with. Which, since we're flipping through text pages, I want to let you guys know that I am doing a 10-part class about how to use a flow journal. And the first lesson will be published here on YouTube on June the 1st, which is Friday. And I hope that you guys will find it interesting. It's just a take on how to use the elements in a flow journal, how to use the book itself. So I hope that you guys will stay tuned, and I'll be talking more about that in a future video. But it's all about how to use your pages. We have some vintage Nielsen ephemera here. Christmas greetings. This is the cover of the Metropolitan Life cookbook, which I really do love. Look at that. This is 1960 maybe? I can't remember. Again, the Culinary Institute. But there's a lady cooking on TV. I used to watch Betty Feezer. Now, she was on my my TV when I was a little kid, and I was always like kind of fascinated with her. I was honestly fascinated with TV, I guess, when I was little, because it was a very new technology, new concept. This is a telephone, which is old now. I mean, can you believe that we use telephones like this? Telephones have come a long way, haven't they, y'all? They've come a really long way. This little starter journal, Aren't You Glad, will go in the shop a little later on this evening, or maybe this afternoon if I get around to it. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, little journal. I made her do a split. Did you guys see that? I'm sorry, baby. I'm sure that wasn't comfortable. This is Mocha Flower, and she is finished the way that I finished most of these journals, with some wooden beads. Also the engraved Japanese beads, because I love that off-white color and I just thought it looked really cool. And some German marble beads finish this one off. I love the color. She's a neat color, and I'm digging like the darker backgrounds with flowers on them. I know I just talked about my dead peonies and how beautiful they are, but there really is beauty in things like that. I know that's just a little weird. This is a great article about open communication. I really did like that. You know, we were talking about upping our diet and making things healthier. So this was a little bit a cooking article. This is an article about waiting for meditation to happen. I keep waiting for some big insight or truth to be revealed in meditation, but I get nothing. What am I doing wrong? I am off my meditation. That's not like being off your medication. I am off my meditation. I'm not, haven't been keeping up with that too well, which is bad me. I hope that I will get better about that. When my work day starts really early, you know, usually around 5:30 or 6, I'm up and doing. And, you know, depending on what's going on, the farm, of course, is in season. So we had a big festival this past weekend, and it's always like a major amount of work. And then the week after is kind of you know, I can kind of catch my breath, and that's good too, because I nearly lose my mind. And not lose my mind, it's just a lot of being around people. And I'm a solitary girl. I'm not used to being around people. It's all I can do to go out, you know, twice a week to the post office and to the market. My friend says that I'm agoraphobic, but I'm really not. I do get out. It's not like I never get out. I like my little world here. This is another ATC made with a magazine page. This says it's a beautiful day. Some sweet bookmarks for you to play with. Something from my personal art journal. Lots of layering going on there. From National Geographic, a parrot. Cute. Memories. This is a man in uniform. I didn't even realize that. Sweet layout right here. Isn't that just pretty, the whole way that looks? It's just quite lovely. Those scrapbooking magazines are just full of awesome ideas, incredible inspiration. Another one of those simple shapes piece that I made. This is supposed to say ho ho ho, but then when I turned it over it said oh oh oh, and I thought, well, that's pretty cool. So I left it like that. Text pages for you to play with. One of the lessons about using the text page signature in these books is how to make text buttons, and I think that you guys are really going to like that. It's a fun process, and I can't wait to show it to you. It's really super cool. Vintage playing cards, a moose or a reindeer. I think he's a moose because he just wanted to be in here. He specifically said, I want to be here in here. This is our home and garden section. Home is where the heart is, and I've got you a stamped key right there. These are more of the household storage hints from 1964. This is from a home ec book that was published in Quebec. Did you take home ec? I took home ec. I was a musician, you know. I took home ec when I was like 14, and I was like, I don't understand any of this, dude. I want to go on tour. I want to play music, and I want to make records. I don't understand why we have to take home ec. Oh, it was a disaster. I remember I'm using that term really loosely, a dress, and we had to model the dresses that we made, and I had to walk like Quasimodo because mine was crooked really bad. It was really bad. It was purple though. It was a really pretty color. Oh, we've got a bookmark here and a bookmark here to finish out Mocha Flowers. Alright guys, enough of me rambling. Mocha Flowers, Aren't You Glad? And what did we call this one? Jungle Book. Yay! We'll be in the shop a little later on this afternoon. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful Memorial Day. Talk to you later. Thank you for supporting my Etsy shop. I appreciate it. See you soon. Bye.